Glencliff Neighborhood Association was our predecessor, and Ken and his wife Diane Wilson and another couple started this years ago. We sort of have been in and out for maybe 20 years or a little longer, 27, somewhere around there. At one point we joined in under the umbrella of Neighbor to Neighbor. It's a wonderful resource for learning about neighborhoods, about the city, and how we all work together so that we can have a positive neighborhood. When we don't agree with council or we don't agree with another party, but the neighbors feel differently, we have these other city divisions that we can go to that we have developed relationships with to help us work out things so that, we all feel like we can have a win-win. So especially now with things changing so rapidly in our district and us being one of the districts in the city that is not getting much help at all or renewal from the city. So those are things we want to see. We want to see our neighborhood stay healthy and grow. We want to keep negative things out of it as homeowners and renters. So back November 22, we broke away from Neighbor to Neighbor and became independent as a Glencliff Neighborhood Group. At that time, we became a 501c3 and recognized by the city as such. We were one of the few neighborhoods. I'm just going to go over kind of what we've done the last 18 months. And small groups like ours, 501(c)(3)s, can actually keep their board from 2 to 5 years. We don't have to rotate them every year or re-elect every year unless we feel the need to. So we became an independent 501c3 back in November of 2022. And one of the reasons that we did that was because we wanted to work on the mural project. And any money that we would have retained for that project, we would have had to give a percentage to Neighbor, which we don't mind, but we needed the money for the project. So we broke away in that manner. We are still very tightly connected with them. Both Alexa and I serve with them and do things with them. And again, encourage neighbors to get involved. We were one of the first neighborhoods that was invited to the retirement of Senator Gilmore, who herself had started out as a neighborhood leader, just trying to help her neighborhood, which was Salem Town and Germantown, to get out of the bog of the drug dealers, and that was a really, really bad area. And the people, the good people that lived there said, this is enough. And they stepped in, and she stepped in, and they just, including Alexa's parents, who rehabbed parts of the neighborhood, restored homes and things, to bring back a positive life to that area. So we were invited to her retirement party, which I felt was really an educational experience, learning about these people who had started on the ground 25 and 30 years ago, trying to restore neighborhoods and bring more life and development. They learned to work with the developers and with different stores to get the things that they wanted there, and in the meantime, they gave up some things so that they could have those things. Everything in life is a give and take. We were also invited as one of 5 neighborhood groups to a coffee with the mayor last year, and at that coffee we were asked to help launch the program of participatory budgeting. That is a hard word to say. So we have been able this year, the last 18 months, to build positive relationships with several departments who have been helpful with us. They have come here and taught us month to month the different ones. We have developed a really good relationship with programs in NDOT for beautification of the streets, for reconstruction, and for street calming. And also with an NDOT department called Tactical Urbanism, which you will hear more about, not from me, but perhaps from Alexa. Codes, who finally was able to shut down several rehabbing houses that had no permits. People just come in the neighborhood and say, I'm just going to do what I want here, and they don't bother to get permits. So we turned them in. They were also able to shut down a long-standing drug house that had been on Wingate through the process of the neighborhood working with the different departments within Metro. We have been involved for 2 years in the Fall Festival that we do here at Coleman with the Coleman Community Group at the library and also with our friends in Woodbine. We have been building a relationship with Woodbine, and we're trying to with East Thompson so that the 16th can be stronger, that we can work together on projects that are important to us, and we all have similar projects. It's hot in here, isn't it? We have developed a relationship with a company called Westminster Home Connection. They help elderly people. If you know anybody in your neighborhood and they're older and you see their house is kind of falling apart, ask them if you can help them. Westminster goes in, and for free, they do things like put in ramps or repair gutters falling or holes in their floors in the house and things like this, up to about $3,000 or $4,000. Everything is on a volunteer basis. Contractors are there. Other neighbors come in and volunteer, and the contractors tell them and show them what to do. So not only is it a great way to learn some DIY on your own with them, it helps the elderly neighbors who are here, and as their homes fall apart, developers turn them over to codes and try to take their houses for almost nothing. That's unfair to them. I'm sure you understand that too. They should be allowed to retire in their own home until they choose not to be there any longer. Let's see. We, during the process of doing the mural, we developed a relationship with Metro Arts Commission and also with the zoo. Both of those offered us grants for that project. Later, Tony will talk to you about the finances of that project and where we are now with that. So Metro Arts gave us $9.5 thousand towards that project. The zoo gave us $15,000 towards that project. We had expected that to cover the project until we hit some snags in the road. Let's see. With NDOT, of course, we've worked on speed bumps now. I've already covered that. So we have a positive relationship with CSX. Whenever you say mural on the CSX bridge, everybody says, forget it. It took a year to get permission from them. They have worked well with us, and their engineering company, Kraus, also has worked with us on this project. They continue to work with us by trying to keep the homeless out of that area, which is pretty much a never-ending project. They try to keep the area cut back, cleaned up, and things like that so that it will stay looking like we wanted it to, which is a nice entrance into our community so that people would see that people who care live here, people who want better things live here. And so they work really hard with us. Let's see. We all this stuff is in no particular order. So we opened a bank account under the Glencliff Neighborhood Group over at Southeast Financial Credit Union. And we also opened an account for donations by, Tony, what is the name of the group that will be doing the donations through?
Through Zeffy.
Steffi?
Zeffy. It's like a no for nonprofits.
Right, and so they do not charge the not-for-profit any money. But if you want to donate a little bit more when you're donating, they don't mind that. But that helps not-for-profits because we don't have to give up 3.5% or whatever to whoever is taking the money, handling it. On the mural, I just cannot say enough about the people in this community. I don't know why I always get so emotional about this dang mural. But the people in this community that made that happen, because it was an incredibly difficult project. Just getting the paperwork done and everything took us almost a year. But from that point on, I could no longer handle the project because I had been on medication, a cancer medication, that made me unable to even verbalize words. Had it not been for Graham Bramblett, we would not have a mural down there. That man is the most incredible facilitator of just about anything I have ever seen. He took over the project from the beginning point where we were working with the artist. He was there every day making sure that everything could get done, and this is while he's also head of logistics for Tractor Supply Company. How he did it all, I don't know. He got all of our volunteers to work down there. I know Ken was down there some days helping get the cart across so that we didn't have an accident. And the artist was more than a little difficult, and he handled her like an ace. He has done more for that project, and you'll know more about that too when Tony talks too, than anybody in this district, and we owe him very much gratitude of thanks and of kindness for all that he has invested in this community through that project. Probably two of the other big things that we have done during this last year and a half, and I'm not sure which one I want to cover first. I guess I'll go with 99 Thompson Lane. And Mehmet had brought cars in when he bought the church and the big parking lot on the corner of Wingate and Dobbs. And it's one of those things that's in a loophole. He wasn't doing anything illegal, but he did it too soon. So as in he wasn't zoned for it and we hadn't gone to zoning yet. So I couldn't believe the number of people that showed up at zoning and talked about how we wanted our neighborhood to be something other than Nolensville Road and more car lots. In talking and working with him, there was some back and forth. We went to planning. We talked about why it was important to us not to have that. He talked about why it was important to him, and then we met together over there, and he promised us that he would not put any cars, and he had canceled what was a $2,000 a month contract for him. He canceled that because we didn't want that over there. That says a lot about who he was and about how much he cared about us having a relationship with him and the businesses here to go well and to support one another. He has offered the buildings for us to use whenever we want to do something special, or the parking lot, and we promise to be nice to him. I can be a little ornery at times, and I think that I don't regret that. We got what we wanted, and he got what he wanted, so that's a win-win. And if we have to be a little stubborn at times, we'll be a little stubborn. And when we don't have to be, that's even better, but that's okay.
I think we found out he was a really nice man.
Absolutely, we found out he is.
It was a lot better dealing with him in person than it was not knowing who we were.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't be afraid of conflict. That conflict we can work out together what will work for all of us. And he was really willing to do that when he knew we would be unhappy. And we were really willing to support him from this point on because he would consider us that way. You can't say enough for that. That's what we want as we move forward building our community. Let me see, probably the last thing that I want to talk about as far as what we have accomplished is back when the neighborhoods were being divided into separate council groups. They were redistricting, I guess is the word they were using. Our council lady would not go and ask for Glencliff to remain wholly in the 16th district. They would have cut off at Antioch Pike. So several of us called planning, emailed planning, went down to planning together, and we told them again why it was important to us to keep our community as a whole as much as we could, and they rolled out their map. Ken's wife was just, she looked at that map and she said, well, you could do this or we could do that. She really could see the map and the vision and everything, and we were able to talk with them about what we could and couldn't want to give and take, and we had to go down a second time, and they really did help us out a whole lot. That is part of why we try to develop relationships within the different offices of the Metro government, so that when we go down there with a problem, they know us and we know them. We were able to maintain all but a very few roads at the very southern part of the neighborhood. As we move forward, some of the things that we are hoping to do is a music festival. We used to have one a long time ago. We'd like to see that develop again. It would be a music and arts festival. We are going to be seeing a beautification project at Thompson Lane and Murfreesboro Road. We found out through NDOT that they offer $5,000 a year to any district that wants to do a beautification project, whether it's flowers or a woodwork piece or sculpture or something like that. East Thompson? I'm old. It used to be all Thompson. Sorry. So East Thompson down there, there have been a number of accidents down there, and we thought it might be nice to bring something pretty and something that is a memorial to those people who have lost their lives, and hopefully as they work on that area, hopefully they will work out some of the problems that we have with pedestrians crossing that area. And let's see, we again will work the firefighter meals, which we have done for the last 13 years. We bring them for 3 consecutive Sundays. In September, we bring each team a homemade meal as a thanks for what they do for us. If you have kids and you ever want to drop in there, they will show them every piece of equipment they own and how it works. So you just go on down there. They love it. And again, we will work on doing the fall festival. There is a spring festival that will be next month, and they are searching Coleman for some candy. So we will be putting up on our page a donation site where you could donate money, or if you wanted to just bring bags of candy down. And it's open to the entire community. So I think that's pretty much all I want to say, except I want to talk about Alexa and Tony. Last year we had different people that were on the board. Some of them chose to go off the board. The treasurer definitely did. He wasn't planning on what all the mural might entail, and we had no idea because we'd never done one before. So he kind of dropped and left everything and left us with a mess, and Tony has gone in there and straightened out all of our books and several of the communications back and forth about the mural he has put into a file, so that as we move forward and as other people come in, they can look back at those and maybe see what we did right, see what they never want to do, because it was a learning process. And I think that that's a good thing, that we know how things work. Alexa has just, she's pretty much been your president. You just don't know that. She has worked by my side. She has brought a number of things in interaction with NDOT that we are going to be seeing some really positive things for. And I don't choose to run as president. I feel like, as far as I am concerned, with my abilities and my talents, I have pushed us to a point where I am no longer of that much use to this community as the full leader. I feel like younger people and people who have more energy, more time, I don't know if you have more time, but definitely more energy in things and more knowledge should be stepping up to the plate, and both Tony and Alexa would like to do that. I would like to stay on the board in some capacity if you ask me to, but I'm going to serve you whether I'm on the board or not. It's hard to shut my big mouth up, I'm sure some of you know. I love this community, and I want to see us continue in a positive direction. I want that to be in the most positive manner that we can get it, but I'm also a fighter, and I think sometimes you just got to step up for what it is you want and put in a little fight. I appreciate all you being here. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate this neighborhood and the people who live here and the people who care. I know it's hard to get out and to do things for some of us. We all show up when we can, and we see that. We certainly saw that at planning last time. I appreciate this district and the people that are here that want to work together to build positive things and to make our community someplace we all want to be living in. I think we have the most unique neighborhood in the city. I love South Nashville. I love all the food. I love the zoo. We've got, soccer field down there. We're starting to get things rolling, and it's exciting to see it happen. But as I said, I think it's time for somebody else to do this. So as we think about voting tonight, I would like you to think about voting for Alexa as president. As I said, she's been very involved in a lot of the city activities with the city leaders. I have taken her to everything. It's my second since last year, and she is just amazing. And I would like you to think about having Tony as our treasurer. He is way more than adequate for the job and is an honest guy. So that's all I have to say tonight. Thank you.
I'm Alexa. A couple of things. We are really pushing for the three big neighborhood organizations, Glencliff, Woodbine, and East Thompson, to have more crossover, so we are keeping up with each other and working on the same big ticket items across the district. It just makes sense because what matters to us matters to Woodbine. We're just across one street. And so I'm really working on trying to get people to attend all those meetings, at least occasionally, just so they can keep up with what's going on in each part of the district. At some point, I will have a representative from each of those come speak this year, just to kind of tell us what's going on. And I certainly would suggest or encourage you to sign up for their newsletters as well, just so you know what's going on. I'm also a brand new board member of Neighbor to Neighbor, and along with Barb Clinton, I think is the other person in this district that is on the board of Neighbor to Neighbor. So I'm hoping that that really helps us out in the future, getting some more things accomplished in the 16th district, since there would be 2 board members in this district. There is a conference for neighborhoods next weekend at Meharry Center. That is being put on by Neighbor to Neighbor, if anyone would like to go. There's lots of breakout sessions about planning and zoning and how to make government work for you. It was a great tool for me when I was running for council. I was like, where do you start? How do you get educated on what's going on? And so that is how I got educated, was I went to that conference, I attended these breakout sessions and learned a lot about planning and zoning, and took the Emerging Leadership Academy. But it's a great, if you're really into doing something in the neighborhood, that's a great way to learn. And they do it on a sliding scale, so if you don't want to pay to go, you don't have to pay. They'll still take you. They also offer a great lunch, and it's all free, it's all included. But that's next weekend. If you're interested in going, you can go to the Neighbor to Neighbor website and sign up for that until Monday of next week. This year, we've decided instead of meeting monthly, we're going to meet every other month. And maybe on the months in between, we'll have some kind of social activity so that we're not just sitting here shaking our heads at each other, that we can actually get to know each other and bring your kids and bring your dogs. So maybe it's a yappy hour, maybe it's a picnic in the park, whatever it is, but we'll get some things together. If anyone is interested in hosting music in their yard, anything, we would love to kind of get that involvement going within the district anywhere. It doesn't have to be Glencliff, just trying to get that going. Some of the speakers that we will have this year, NDOT, Walk Bike Nashville, and COSATIA are all working on a new plan for Antioch Pike. What they really want to do is in front of Glencliff High School, there's a daycare directly across the street. And so they want to make a crosswalk there that has a protected island for those kids. There's 3 schools on that street. We stood over there for 2 different afternoons and watched these kids run out into traffic, trying to dodge cars, trying to get, and it's not safe. Anyone that goes to those schools within a mile and 1.4 miles has to walk. So that means there's kids walking from the other side of Nolensville Road all the way to those schools. And so it's not particularly safe. So they're going to redo all of the crosswalks that are on Antioch Pike from Nolensville down to Glencliff, and then put one in the middle that is protected so that they have a place to stop in the middle if they need to get across the street. And there may be some other things, trees, I don't know, but we're working on a plan and it will be happening. It really helps to have 3 schools. That's how you can get stuff done. If the kids are involved, things get done. The night mayor, so the city made a new position called the night mayor, and he happens to be a friend of mine since 5th grade. And so he's going to come at some point and talk to us about what that position is and what he does. I see every morning he posts everything he did the night before. He basically walks through downtown and makes sure that people are in compliance and that they're not having loud music out their windows after 10 p.m. I even saw a couple weeks ago he went and shut down a party that was at the 305, 304? 404. So it's his job to kind of go around the city at night and deal with what gets out of hand. But he has agreed to come speak at some point. Woodbine Neighbor Association will have somebody coming to speak because they have a meeting lined up with Cumberland Yards, which is a big development that's going to go on down by the fairgrounds. We don't hear about it because we're just this far out of the zone that they're required to send anything to. But they did promise to make sure that we are involved in that because, again, more people, it just is a better chance of getting what you want out of it. What else do I have? I have recently started posting about yoga on Monday nights. I'm trying to get neighbors to come do yoga here on Monday nights. It's only $4. And they were in jeopardy of shutting that program down because nobody was coming. So Sherry has come, Tony has come, and a couple other people have joined as well. And it's actually really hard, but really nice to see your neighbors in a different way, from a different angle. It's really hard. But come on. But she's really good at doing modifications. So she was doing modifications. There was another lady who showed up who couldn't raise her arms, and so she did modifications. But I'm just really glad to be able to get with my neighbors in another capacity other than like just talking about what's going on in the district. I would like to offer myself up as president, but you guys have the vote. And I would like for Sherry to stay on because she is outspoken and opinionated. And a lot of people would not think that's a good thing, but when you need things done, people who go, I don't know, whatever you want, don't usually get things pushed along. So I appreciate you being outspoken and opinionated and dragging people around and keeping us together for the last several years. Tony, you got things to talk about tonight?
I have a couple of things.
Okay.
I can share the financial statement.
Okay, I'm gonna let you take this chair in front of this microphone.
She's too humble. She is definitely involved in the repairs and the changes that are going to happen down there on Antioch Pike. She is part of the big push that has made this happen, and she just doesn't sing her own praises. And I think that being humble is a good characteristic to have. So,
I agree. Hey guys, thanks so much for joining us tonight. My name is Tony Zavitson. I'm the treasurer here for the Glencliff Neighborhood Group. I started coming to these meetings back over last summer, and I wanted to get involved, and I asked Sherry and Alexa, what can I do? And they said, well, we need a treasurer. Can you step in? Can you take this check down to the, this donation down to the bank tomorrow? I was like, sure. So then there I was. So we needed to, because we're a 501(c), within 2 years of getting your status as tax exempt, you have to file all kinds of tax forms. Luckily, we don't have to file anything with the state at this time, but we did have to do a 990 tax return, as well as do a couple of 1099s for the artist that did the mural for us, and also the IGC protection company that had the off-duty police and other safety and security protection out while Tara, our mural artist, was painting and working. So I've got these out if somebody wants to pass these out. So y'all can see these. So right now the only thing that's out, probably better if I got up to the mic, huh? The last thing that still needs to be satisfied for the mural, we still have an outstanding balance. Our Vice President, Graham Bramblett, really came in and did us a solid because we didn't have quite enough funding for the mural, and so he actually took out a loan, a 0% interest loan, of $18,000, and we were able to, as we had funding come in, we were able to pay him back. So we still have a current balance of $84.95, and we're working with Metro and applying for other grants to go ahead and get that paid back as quickly as possible. I would say, hopefully before the summer
yeah. We had been told that we thought we had all the money. We had been told by TDOT that they would supply that safety feature for us. And at the very last minute, they pulled out. That left us with a big budget deficit that we didn't know we were going to be having, or we wouldn't have started the project until we had that money covered. So.
Yep. So Graham really came in and helped the community out a lot. That's the thing about this community. Everybody that's been involved here, it really means a lot for you guys to come in. It's also meant a lot for the board of directors, because everybody. Sherry here actually put in. She actually made an in-kind donation just to get the deposit for Tara, our mural artist, to actually come in and start the project. So I would just like to thank you for all the work and all the time and effort you've put into this community. So we're working on getting that taken care of now. And back in October, we also did had an inflatable for our fall festival, so you can see that there. But the majority of our expenses this past year went towards the mural. So we did a couple other smaller donations here as well. So I'm going to go ahead and file all that. I had our CPA look over it, and he said he looked at all of the statements and everything and said it all looked good to go. So I will be going ahead and submitting that here in the next couple of weeks before the tax deadline. Yay! So if you guys have any questions for me, if you guys need to see any of the other, like if you actually want to see the 990 or any of the 1099s that I sent out, you can come see me afterwards, and I will pull that. I brought my computer so I can show you guys that upon request. And I'm running for treasurer again, by the way. So I love you guys voted for me. Thank you very much.
Running again, he sort of got pushed into it to start with, but he's done a fantastic job, I tell you.
It's fun being involved, and I again, we want to get as many people involved as possible. We're wanting to do a music festival or a fall festival with other musicians and different small businesses in the community, like food trucks. And if anyone does art here, if you know anybody in the neighborhood that does art like face painting or flow art or anything like that, we would love to have somebody come in. My friend Denise Miller, who actually, she lives right off of East Thompson, she is very interested in coming in and joining us. But hey, the more the merrier. So if you guys want to get involved, please see me after the meeting tonight, and we can start planning.
And we promise not to make you take a huge chunk. If everybody takes a little bite of the elephant, it should get taken care of pretty easily.
Absolutely, yes. We're here to do the heavy lifting, but we want to have you guys' input. That's the most important thing to us, is getting y'all's input. And however you guys want, however much or little you want to be involved, we welcome it. We're excited about it.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, that's all I have for you. So
We're taking questions off the floor. If you have any questions, please ask them. If anything doesn't seem clear or right, please raise that question for us so that we can answer that, and also make sure that we are all on the right page. We're not always right. So if you see something we're not doing right, please say so.
What are the boundary lines of this neighborhood association's?
good question.
So Glencliff runs that side of Thompson Lane down to, well, it's actually not down to the bridge anymore, to the north side of Wheeler. Now, go ahead.
So the official neighborhood boundaries when we formed the organization back in the 90s was south of Thompson Lane, east of Nolensville Pike, west of I-24, and north of the railroad grade by the zoo. It's a rectangle. About 2,000 homes at the time, and apartments, several hundred apartments, hundreds of apartments, but about 2,000 homes.
But after we had the change in the districting, we got cut off at Wheeler, and Wheeler is down there where the old funeral home is, and Allied Drive where the barbecue place is. So everything to the south of Wheeler is in another district, but it's still Glencliff, and everything to the north on Wheeler is in the 16th district.
And for a time, across on the west side of Nolensville Pike, between Thompson Lane down to the maybe Allied Drive where there's no more residential. There was a Radnor neighborhood group, but I don't think it's active anymore. But we should try to include those people because our concerns are their concerns as well. I mean, not necessarily boundary-wise, but get them involved in the neighborhood.
And we did that. When we went down to try to keep our district together, Radnor was completely out. And we said to them, we want Radnor to stay in too. And they also spoke up and sent emails and stuff and were able to stay completely in the district. So they, I think there are some young people there that are talking about it. I think that it's just difficult for people to even understand what it is a neighborhood association does. I mean, we talked about all the things we've done in the last 18 months. People don't understand that that is what a neighborhood association is about. So it's kind of hard to form those ideas. And I believe that, who is Chris Saunders is the beautification commissioner for the 16th district, and he was talking about, he lives in Radnor, about getting them going and getting it started. And on occasions when he's in town, he comes to our meetings. So absolutely, we need to stimulate that again. They're part of the 16th, and they're part of, certainly, of what we experience on Nolensville Road. Good idea, Kim.
So one more question. So the mural project and the funds that you applied for the corner of East Thompson and Murfreesboro, technically neither of those projects are within the group, the neighborhood boundaries?
The mural project, when we applied for it, was within our boundaries. And even still, I think that we would have probably chosen to do it because it is the entrance.
When we applied for the mural project, it was within the 16th district. It is still kind of our boundary, kind of the gateway to our neighborhood.
And the other project, would that be?
The project on East Thompson, the grant or actually gift that goes from that is from NDOT, and that is for any project within the 16th district. Now, I was trying to get some work done here at Thompson Lane, Nolensville Road. That hit some people in a real negative manner. We will be getting some new mulch. TDOT is working on that. Right now they're digging up and doing some stuff under the ground, so when they get done with that, we'll go back into that project. I wanted some low-growing perennial flowers in there or perennial grasses that would bring some color. That's still under debate with TDOT, whether they feel like that would not block view of cars coming and going. But anything we do under 2 feet is acceptable to them. So those projects are on the coming project list as we keep working to get things done. And I just think if they're going to give us $5,000 for the district, darn it, I don't care where we use it. Let's use it and let's make it nicer somewhere in this district. So.
Sorry, one more question I got. Last year, in the early part of the year, January, February 2023, there was a grant proposal put out by the government that identified, the metro government, that identified Glencliff, just Glencliff, as an area of high crime, or not crime, high violence, and had an opportunity for organizations to apply in violence reduction measures up to $48,000 per group. I'm just wondering, I don't know who got those grants last year, and I'm also wondering about the word Glencliff neighborhood, if that is this being identified as Metro as the same group, or if that's a different group.
No,
It's okay. So it seemed like that grant had $400,000, and I'm just wondering who got that grant and what are they doing?
So I believe, if I'm not wrong, and I could be wrong, that part of that grant was the Jason Powell thing, and that money is going down McCall, down Nolensville Road. We can apply for that grant again, and also the beautification grant, I believe in June this year. And we certainly want to know any grants that we can apply for. We certainly don't want them to slip out of our hands without us, taking a chance on getting that for the community. If you hear anything else about that, please let us know.
I'm just wondering what violence reduction measures are being done in the community at present. That's really more of what my question is what are the violence reduction, what are the things being done by nothing?
Metro doesn't have the staff to do it.
Well, no, this was like a granting, or this is a request for proposals by Metro to other organizations, so to nonprofits or whoever.
You must mean participatory budgeting?
No, it's participatory budgeting. I can show you afterward the website because they still have it live.
Please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't want one pen to get by that we can use to improve something in our community.
Well, I'm just wondering what other groups are doing things because it seems like someone must have gotten that grant. I just
Well,
don't
and
know
I
who.
think that time last year was when the state proposed changing all of our boundary lines. So I think that about that time, we all got thrown into this, what district are we gonna be in? We have to make it, we have to vote in 3 months. And I think that it just kind of threw everything else out the door.
Okay.
That we were
Yeah,
so
I've
worried
just
about
been
keeping our neighborhood together.
I'm working with a violence reduction group, and we just happened to find that grant, and we were like, well, it was last year, but who got it? You know, like, who is it that got it? So.
Committee for that just focuses on.
Sure.
On the record.
That would be great.
Although technically, I'm not sure I live within your boundaries as outlined, although I don't live in Woodbines either. I'm kind of in a weird I'm in the 16th district, but none of those neighborhoods that were outlined. So I live on Loney Drive, which is in Raymond Heights. We're in the 16th district. We were rezoned into the 16th from the 17th. It's probably closest to East Thompson because I believe the street's over the, there's a road called Sturton and there's a bridge over the 440. I believe on that side they're considered East Thompson, but we're not considered a part of any neighborhood group that I'm aware of.
Happy to have you.
Any other questions? Make sure we don't have any questions on the Zoom. No questions there.
All righty, if there are no more questions, then I'm going to go ahead and nominate Alexa Little as president for Glencliff Neighborhood Group.
I'll second that.
Any nays? Any nays? Thank you,
Congratulations.
Loving launch.
Shake it out
I would like to nominate Tony for our treasurer. Any yays? Any seconds?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Thank you.
And then you're stuck with me. Does somebody want to nominate me for that other thing, or do you?
I would like to nominate you for everything that's left.
No.
Vice President, Secretary. Yeah.
I'm happy to serve this community in any way that I can.
I would like you to stay on because Sherry's really good at, while the rest of us are working our jobs, she's making calls to Channel 5 and the schools and finding speakers and finding things. Finding money. Yeah, so I like that.
What is the time commitment for like the, I guess, secretaries, what's left?
We've been trying to elect year to year is what we have done in the past. What we have found also in the past, because it's been an older neighborhood that is finally, bringing you young folks, and I'm thrilled to see, that haven't been able to serve. So it's been hard to actually find people who would fill the positions. So we have hung on by the skin of our teeth over the years. But a year, and like I said originally.
I just mean like the day-to-day kind of time commitment.
We have to meet once a month.
Okay.
But we have been meeting most recently either through Zoom or Facebook Live or whatever.
Okay.
Just to talk about what's going on. We do meet in person if we are able.
Okay, yeah.
And sometimes at the Mexican restaurant.
Yeah, I mean, that's, I like margaritas, so I'm
Yeah,
really
right.
not opposed.
You're in good company.
I have a 1-year-old, so I try to, even like these kind of 6:30 meetings are like a little bit of a challenge, because it's his bedtime.
And for the board meetings themselves amongst the board, we've met at 2 o'clock in the afternoon before. So
Okay.
it's just whatever works for the board. These meetings, we try to keep them at the same set time, just so that
Sure.
people know and it's not all over the place.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I'd like to get involved. I'd like to, my mom is watching my child right now, and I was like, you know, I kind of want to speak for myself instead of, you know, having others speak on my behalf. So, yeah, I would love to. So I guess if secretary is left,
And then you're going to do a violence.
We'll have to talk afterward.
Okay, but I'll second her for secretary.
I'm Katie, by the way. Katie, everyone. I live on Baden. I live in Glencliff.
Where are you located?
I live between Glencliff and.
I'm on Hayden. I'm
Oh.
on
What's your
Hayden.
number?
Do you know the Parmans? Debbie and Phil Parman?
Oh, yeah.
I live across the street from them. Yeah. Yeah, I live like right by McCall.
Okay.
Just like a couple houses over.
Your neighbors.
Yeah.
I'm on McCall, so I probably passed your house several times.
Probably.
6 years, because I walk my dog there all the time, so.
Probably. Is it a giant dog?
No, she's 10 pounds of purity.
Oh, okay. Because there's like a giant dog that walks past my house every day, and my giant dog does not.
Giant dog.
Huh?
It is a giant dog.
You're talking, you know, the black and white one? I think they live on McCall. Yeah, it does look like, it looks like a fluffy horse. But I have a German Shepherd, so if you've gone past the house with a crazy German Shepherd, that's mine. Yeah, she's crazy. She's a good girl, but she's crazy.
Yep, well, we would love to have you. Any opposed?
No.
All right.
Great.
Thank you. Woo! You might want to check your Zoom just in case somebody on there had
Anybody have a question?
anything to say about it.
Anyone opposed? Yeah. One person will do.
Yeah, right. Maybe like, oh,
I don't know. Does anyone know Denise? That was the only one that stayed long enough. No? All right. Denise Miller? No.
This is my brother. If anybody didn't know,
Yeah,
Gabriel.
thank you, Gabriel, for being our
He lives in
AD.
Dawson. It's not Glencliff, but he donates his services on occasion.
He's honorary.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. Well, let me see what time it is. So it's 7:23. So we have a board for next year. You are the president. You will let us know when our next board meeting is. And do you want to talk about this layout again for what's coming?
We are gonna do every other month. I should go up there. We are gonna do every other month, just to kind of coincide with what Woodbine Neighborhood Group's doing, and I'm gonna get in touch with East Thompson community. They're kind of trying to pull their board back together. But I have a little W by the months that Woodbine's meeting, so I'm trying to meet in the opposite month. So in April, we won't have a meeting, but I will likely try to put a social together. Maybe a picnic or a yappy hour in the park, bring your dog, just something to get the neighbors together in a different capacity. And we will have a meeting every other month that will have a speaker. I will let you know who that is as they let me know that they are available. And then in fall, there's a lot going on. Of course, we always feed the fire department. Woodbine has agreed to help out this year. I would love it if we could actually eat with them one of those Sundays, if that's possible. I think that would be fun.
You know, if their bell rings, they go.
Right,
so
right.
That's how that
We can hold it down. And then in October, there's a lot going on. There's a citywide cleanup, which parts of the neighborhood has been involved in a little bit here and there, but I really want to try and beef that up, and let's do something about the trash in our neighborhood, since the whole city's doing it that day. There's also a big fall festival here at Coleman Park, and they really try to get volunteers to help do something. Last year I walked in and they're like, "You're making cotton candy," so I left covered in sugar, but it was fun. So if you're interested in helping out with any of that, that would be great. We will have a holiday party in December district-wide, and Mehmet has offered up his auxiliary building and all of his parking for us to do that, which I think would be a really a great place because it's kind of centrally located for the district. But also, he called me today and said that he wanted to show that he's trying to be a good neighbor.
Is
So-
it the outer building, like in the back of the church? Okay.
Right now, it's rented out to the Tennessee Repertory Theater.
So
And they're,
it's in nicer condition than the church?
yes, much nicer.
I haven't been in the church, but I've heard it's.
He took us on a tour of the church.
I've heard
We're
it's
like,
gross.
"Ugh," and we walked down through, they're like, "This is nice."
So who is
really believe his long-term goal will be to find a
Somebody
buyer
else.
for the whole parcel
Yeah.
with a plan to develop it perhaps to some other use. I think he's
Yeah.
just trying to pay the note right now.
Yeah, I know Monica is the president of the Woodbine Association. She also has a son that's the same age as my son, so we kind of talked about it a little bit in terms of like his bad investment, so to speak. But yeah, so I kind of have an idea of like what his long-term plan had been and now how it's gonna get kind of flipped, but I'm hopeful kind of
He
based on
owns
what
a
I've
big
heard.
parcel across the street from police headquarters.
Yeah.
Murfreesboro Park.
Yeah. Okay.
If you know anybody that has a small business in their home and they're wanting to break out of their home, he is renting individual rooms to small businesses.
Well,
At the Wingate Church of Christ.
Yes.
Interesting. And what's this guy's name?
Mehmet?
Mehmet?
Mehmet. I asked him to come join us tonight, but he's in, it's Ramadan. So he's been fasting all day, and then he gets to eat with his family at 6:45, so he's not going to be here. Yeah.
And also, the Carpenter Square is doing something similar. They have something coming up that they have to go to planning for. I think what they're doing is a really good idea. I think they wanted to put in a garden, is that correct? And then also rent some of their rooms to not-for-profits. It's really hard for churches and big buildings like that to stay above the debt of running those things, heating them even.
Which one is Carpenter?
It's on the corner of Morton and Nolensville Road.
Oh, yeah.
There's
Next-
zoning.
So I think I'll go and support them on that. I think it's a good idea for the neighborhood and the community in general.
I think it's, from what I read, there's nothing objectionable that a church wouldn't be able to do. And I do think it's advantageous to go to their little open house meeting, get to know them, and let them know us.
Yeah, absolutely. The more people we can get involved, the better.
And they've been there for years, and it's not been a problem at all. It's not been an issue, so.
And I don't know what the neighborhood over here is called. There's only like 4 residences, period, in all of that. The, behind the Walgreens. But I did reach out to the Pedal House, which is what is coming to take over the 399 Sofa Store, and asked them if they would send a representative to talk to our neighborhood at some point this year. And they said they would be glad to, and they'll find somebody and let us know when they're available. Where the 399 Sofa Store used to be. Yeah, there was, it made, yeah, that's right, the 399 Sofa Store. But so that's going to be a pedal house, but they will send a representative at some point this year to talk to us about it and tell us what to expect.
Do they have like a timeline for that? I mean,
They said it would be over a year before they're ready to
I know
open.
the building
Yeah.
is like still standing. So
Well, they're going to utilize the standing building. Yeah, I don't know how, but I saw that they did pull an electrical permit for it, so they must be doing some kind of upgrades.
that's a question for Coffee and Gin on, is that Saturday? Next Saturday?
What footprint will the residents have in the apartment building?
I'm not sure because the first plan that was put out got changed, so I don't even know what's going to happen.
So it's kind of fluid.
Yeah. Or over the pedal house, because that was supposed to be on the bottom with residents above.
Right.
So I don't know what the full plan is on that anymore. But hopefully we'll get somebody in here to talk to us and let us know what to expect.
I know. I mean, I would love to see, I mean, we don't have to talk about all this stuff, but I would just love to see so many nicer things.
Yeah. I mean, if people move into that property, that will create a need for more restaurants and more coffee shops and more of the things we want. And, it'll bring the demand.
So I'm organizing a community cleanup at Mill Creek and the Greenway and the Blue Way there. A couple of groups coming together to do this on April 14th from 10 to 12. So that, as you know, the flood several years ago that flooded the warehouse, that just was like an environmental disaster in Mill Creek in the watershed, coupled with the just urban trash is what I'll call it, coupled with people who are living on the lots at different times and then get cleaned off. There's just all kinds of trash there. I took these pictures yesterday that are on this flyer that my 10-year-old made, so judge it with much, however you want to judge that.
You're not getting in the creek, right?
No, so we're not getting in the creek because your concern is
It's
gross.
All the stuff in the creek.
There's sewage dumped into that creek,
Just-
among other
there's
things.
all-
yeah, it is a sewage runoff thing. Yes, we're not getting into the creek.
But just like the trees and
But
stuff around it.
we're going to get creative around accessing the other side of the creek through under the highway. There's kind of a entrance where we can get more of the other side of the stuff. We'd love to have as many volunteers as possible. We are partnering with NDOT and Hands on Nashville. We'll be on the volunteer. We'll be listed as a volunteer opportunity on Hands on Nashville. And I have this little Facebook event. So we'd love to anyone to come out and help for 2 hours on a Sunday morning on April 14th. Oh, sorry. And yeah, I'd love to get 200 trash bags for trash.
Well, and
We've identified 8 areas to send small groups to after we meet up at the pavilion. Yeah, we're working with Nashville Beautification on that already. So yeah.
You know the backstory is that their insurance paid out max and then stopped. The restaurant warehouse's insurance company paid out for cleanup till it hit ceiling and they stopped paying. The city did sue, and that warehouse company sued as well, but I don't know where
it's ended
where
up.
it is.
Well, I know when the workers were out there, and then I know that they stopped, and I heard it was too expensive, which is basically a summary of your story.
Now, the insurance, you reach a max.
Yeah.
You're insured
Yeah.
maybe $1 million.
Unfortunately, the environment is
it's-
massively,
So they cleaned almost to Thompson Lane.
yeah. I mean, there's the bags hanging out of the trees there's just. So anyway, we're gonna get creative. I think we are gonna have a canoe team that will be going through with grabbers to try to get some of the stuff out of the trees. They have motors in the canoes we're trying to get, so we're hoping that it's gonna be a good opportunity for kind of to come together and take ownership.
I want to say one more thing that I forgot about. We are trying to put together a blood drive, and the blood drive is partially to raise blood, of course. 25 pints is what we're looking for, so we need 25 people to commit to donating a pint. This would be April 26th here at Coleman. It would be to support colorectal cancers and cancer in general. There is a tremendous amount of blood that is used by people who have cancer, and I don't think there's any of us who don't know at least one person who has cancer. So we want to be able to try and support that here. If you could donate, we're going to put a sign-up list on the page, and hopefully we can get at least 25 people. We're going to work with the Cancer Association and also have Channel 4 do a workup with us so that we can get some promotion out and get some of that going. Red Cross says they have no connection down here. They can't get any more than like 5 or 6 pints of blood when they try to get things going. So I really hope y'all will help us push this, and let's get our area focusing that way too, and giving back to our community in a way that is different and means a lot. It means life.
I have one more note, I'm sorry. Councilmember Quinn was supposed to come talk, she's still supposed to come talk at the end of April about her bills that she presented that would blanket all of Davidson County residential property so that they could become duplex, triplex, or quadplex without permits, without rezoning. But she has since pulled those bills to tweak them, and I'm sure she will release them. She has not canceled yet, but that doesn't mean she won't until she's got a firm grip on what she's going forward with. So I'll keep everybody updated on that.
I said, gee, I wonder why. The response has not been positive. I don't blame them.
Anything else?
We appreciate everybody being here.
All in
Helping us
favor
out.
of ending the meeting? Say aye.
Aye.
Thank you all so much. Really appreciate y'all being here.